This might be either the weirdest or the best spam strategy I've seen in a very long time. So what I'm talking about is a mid-desperado spam, but you only stop at the tier 3, and that's about it. I'm not kidding, you spam middle path desperados. You just buy as many deadeyes as possible, and apparently that is nowadays a solid strategy. So the latest comprehensive tier list recently dropped, and the thing caught my attention is actually this paragraph, which refers to the Desperado while getting moved from C tier to A minus. But specifically, this caught my attention. It says, with improvements to all 3 upgrades to this path, Deadeye spam strategy is now viable. What? Wait, Deadeye spam is now viable? We can actually do that? This reminds me a little bit of the mid path bouncing bullet sniper spam, and I absolutely love that strategy. I mean, that was one of my favorite strategies at Blackboard with a bunch of maps with that thing, so why not try and see if this Deadeye thingy works, huh? Let's drop Eti like this real quick in round 10. Let's have the drone attack a little bit. Is this gonna be enough? Please tell me that it is. It's gonna need a couple of shots. Oh my god, 1? No, we snipe it. Yeah, so let's see how good this thing is gonna be. I mean, this just sounds like a blast. Even if it doesn't work, I think just spamming like all these rifles, because the rifles attack kind of slowly, right? So it's gonna be interesting to see how the tower fares. Also, I guess one of the reasons why they say this is because some of the upgrades got, I think what's it called, the bullseye upgrade got a little bit cheaper. It went from 5 to 350 if I'm not mistaken, and then the Deadeye got some increased pierce, went from 3 to 4, and I guess if you spam a bunch of these guys, it just adds up by a lot. Alright, so let's see how we're going to do onto these early rounds. So crosspath is going to be 230 obviously, and something about the Deadeye upgrade itself is that it's a very expensive one, so discount village is going to go really hard, especially if you're buying like a million of these guys. Oh, are we gonna? Yes, there we go. Yeah, we're gonna need some extra damage for sure, but I would love to get the discount village in first, and then I chose this map because there's a lot of empty space in the middle to just spam all our desperados, and we're obviously going for Eti because Eti gives extra range, and we like extra range on our Desperados because they get the increased chance to crit. So how do we want to go about these next 2 rounds? The 20s might get a little annoying, so I'm gonna get the standoff, I guess, on this guy. I'm keeping the guy on the left on strong and then this guy on the right on first, and I'm trying to save Eti's drone ability for 21, but that doesn't look like it's going to be happening, right? Yeah, 1 blue balloon is gonna sneak through. Okay, alright, so how about we get another Desperado? I was thinking, I mean, listen, we're gonna be spamming a million of these guys, so I wouldn't mind doing this. So let's get 1 more, try and save the ability on this round, and I think we will slowly want to start getting these discount upgrades up on the village. Yeah, so basically I wanted to save the drone ability for a round like this one, because 21 has a bunch of yellows and pinks, but I guess like this third Desperado is it gonna hold? I think it is actually. Alright, and let's get the monkey commerce. I think we're gonna have to drop the drone ability on a round like this one. Does Eti have camo? Yeah, he just got it, so the camo 24 is gonna get taken care of. Now that we have both of the discounts, I think we just want to get some upgrades and some damage going on our Desperado, so make sure this guy goes to like 220, and then you guys know what, I'm actually just gonna upgrade I guess 1 of these guys to 200 as well. So a little bit of an issue with these guys is they cannot exactly pop well, they can pop lead balloons, but you are going to need the Deadeye upgrade for that. And actually you can pop camel leads once you get it. So let's drop on alchemist. I think we're gonna be alchemizing these guys for sure, so it's gonna be like a couple of alchemists as well, I guess. Alright, so it's gonna be this one, so we're gonna get our first Deadeye. Boom, there it is, round 34. The range is insane, by the way. Not only just Eti, but like the fact that the rifle range is huge, and also you get the ability, so you can extend it as much as you want, and this is gonna increase the crit chance, by the way. Okay, so one of these guys seems to be holding its own very, very well. We are obviously missing a lot of towers, so let's just get on buying the second one. Let's go for a oh, wait a minute, let's see. Oh, never mind, we snipe it. Can we get some extra range going on to these boys, by the way? Let's go. Yeah, that was kind of close, but this global map coverage, now that I think about this, like I didn't exactly think about this thing, but yeah, the range of these Desperados is huge. So regardless of the map that you're playing, like you're gonna have almost global coverage. Now let's see how fast they're gonna dispatch the Moab and the insides. Yeah, that's quite fast. Although this tends to be an issue for the Desperados in general, I think. When the balloons are breaking up into small balloons, unless you're running the bottom pad Desperado, it might create some issues. Alright, so 43, we get our first ceramics, and depending depending on how far the Desperado is, we can easily crit on some of these ceramics. Now the thing is, and I'm just kind of questioning, how do we want to keep these Desperados? Like, what's the targeting going to be? Let me just, by the way, buy the third one. I think we should create some sort of a balance where we keep a couple of them on strong, I guess the majority of them on first, but I was also thinking of getting at least like 1 or 2 bounty hunters, because if you guys know what the bounty hunter does, it unlocks the ability to mark Bloons, and all those marked Bloons take double damage, and they can be attacked by all Desperados. This ability, by the way, works on Mob class Bloons, and this can prove to be very useful in the late game and the ultra late game. So I picked this beginner map because I have absolutely no feel of how good or bad this strategy is. So let me go for Desperado number 4, and I think we might want to, you know, start dropping these alchemists. So I think a 401 alchemist is going to be appropriate for this thing. Let's also get the jungle drums. And let's see how we're doing with these rifles. It's kind of interesting, right, the way that we're cleaning out these Bloons, because it's kind of a semi-fast, I guess, attacking rifle, which does a lot of damage. And I guess the way that it does AoE is like similar to the shrapnel on the sniper, so the Bloons behind it can actually get targeted. I think it's a little bit narrower though than the shrapnel, this AoE that it has. So let's go for Desperado number 5, and yeah, I think we're gonna be getting a bounty hunter too, actually. So let's go like this. And you guys know what, I'm actually gonna make this guy into the bounty hunter, because why not? Let's get at least one on the field just to start things off, and then we might buy a second or third one. Alright, so 57. The 50s, by the way, have been a breeze, I'm gonna be honest. Like, we've not had to do anything special with these Desperados. They're just attacking from afar, and it's mainly this like carrying, like the guys in the back do have a little bit of damage, but this guy's at like 27k pops and it's not even close. Yeah, so dispatching all these camel leads on 59. I'm gonna buy the 6th one, I think this is. Yeah, I just, you know that when these DDTs start rolling in, it's we're at least gonna be able to do damage to them without having to buy external towers, though we might want to buff them or give them a helping hand through something. I was maybe thinking, I don't know, like the glue and stuff, the usual ones, but maybe the Midpath Village. We're gonna see how everything goes. But you know, while we were talking, like the first couple of rounds of the 60s are gone. That's round 63. Yeah, I can see these Bloons in 63 making it a little bit further, and that's because I guess they just get broken apart and it's not always a crit. I don't know, I'm not exactly sure we like huge groups of Bloons, even though we have like 8 Desperados on the field at this point. I'm not exactly sure. These guys are making it kind of far. Let's see their AoE onto Moab class Bloons. Yeah, the blue mobs are getting decimated. I guess these ceramics are getting left to pink Bloons, and they're summoning like 1,000,000 insides. That is going to stop being a problem in free play, although we're gonna need like a lot of damage in free play. So let's buy something that we should have bought at a very long time ago. Actually, just the 402 on this village. So this is gonna give everyone a lot of extra range. And keep in mind, Eti's not even yet level 16, I think, is when we get the other. Yeah, then we get the other 10% extra range. I guess the closest round was 63, maybe, when those groups of Bloons made it a little bit further up to like this point, I think it was. But other than that, this is just smooth sailing so far. And I'm just thinking, do we want to buy a village to buff these guys? The call to arms, like, what is the end game gonna be? Because you want to keep the Bloons like here towards the left side, right? You want to keep them at bay. So let's go for something like a glue. I'm gonna buy it a little bit earlier for sure. This can easily be a relentless glue as well, so we can have a little bit of a stunning going onto these Bloons. So let's go like this, 0 to 4 onto them. It's gonna benefit a little bit from the village as well, which is really nice. So all primary towers. This is like unintentionally becoming into a like an almost primary only run. But yeah, these primaries, I mean, they got hands, man. They got a lot of buffs. They got a new hero. Silas works well with the ice monkeys. I mean, glue has been sitting there in like S tier since forever, I think. So yeah, not even like bad towers in general. Let me, by the way, go for the next one. What's the round that we're currently on, by the way? Like, what is even happening in the background? I can't pay attention to what's happening on these rounds, because as soon as the balloon comes in, like, it just gets instantly popped, and I don't even get a chance to see what's actually coming out. So it's apparently around 77. Let's go for Desperado number 9. I think this guy's gonna be. I'm actually just gonna try and get like one more over here, and then if we can fit one more in the range of the village. Not now, but when Eti gets 16, the village gets expanded range, and we can fit a couple more down here. So we just need to be patient. We can do this though. We can dump one more alchemist. Let's go for one more 401 on the alchemist. We're probably gonna need like at least 1 or 2 more alchemists. Oh, a lot of ceramics this time around. So 63, if you guys remember, those guys did make it kind of far, and it's the same story, it seems like, with the 78. I mean, to be fair, this is nowhere near losing, but the standards are so high for these Desperados that you know, once a balloon makes it like here onto the other side of these pipes, it's like, oh my god, this thing is leaking. Okay, so let me go for Desperado number 11. I think this guy's gonna be. So let's go like this, 230, getting a lot of extra range. Let's see how how we do versus this ZOMG. Oh, the ZOMG is gone. What is this strategy, man? And we're gonna get a couple more mark to pop abilities, but what? Why is this working? Oh my god, this is the weirdest strategy I've seen in a very long time, and it's actually good. This is insane. Look at how strong these guys are. Alright, so 83 is gonna have like a huge wave of Bloom wives behind each other, and I think this is just gonna be yeah, they're gonna turn into a joke, aren't they? Yes, look at this thing. 83, by the way, in free play mode with just a bunch of tier 3 towers, a bunch of dead eyes. One of these guys costs like 3k. That is insane. There goes this round. 84 is gonna be an interesting one, and we are starting to get some money, so let's are we going for a second village? I was thinking of going for the call to arms. Now that I think about this, I am a little bit sad that I didn't buy it a little bit earlier, so we could have had double discounts. You can spam even more, but you know what? I don't care as much at this point. Yeah, I'm just gonna buy it. Let's just have it on the field. This is round 85 and all these ZMGs. I, by the way, go for one more alchemist over here. We have 2 covering the bottom ones. I don't think that's enough, but we're more likely gonna need another one, so let's go for a 401 on the alchemist again. I mean, what else are we getting to help out these guys? Because they seem to be insane so far. I mean, look at what's happening on this round. Did Eddie get level 16, by the way? He did. Okay, so that means that we should be able to have, yes, at least, that's one. I think, okay, we're gonna get one more over here. That's all the money spent. It's round 89, by the way. We can barely see the round coming out. You guys know what the craziest part is? I'm pretty sure this is overkill. Like, I'm pretty sure you don't have to do 12 Desperados in order to get this effect, because the majority of the damage seems to be done like these guys up front. Let me just check the pops onto some of them. So 125 on this guy, 163 on this guy, 120 on this one as well. But then this guy at the back is like barely seeing any action. That goes for these guys here as well. So it's like, realistically, I mean, you don't even need 12. You can get away with like half of that. But let's actually see how we do in the 90s, because this is where we're gonna encounter some more serious balloons. So I would rather be ready and just not lose in a dumb way, right? So let's actually use the bounty hunter ability, which there are going to be a lot of small balloons. Yeah, I guess the small balloons are going to be absorbing the majority of the damage, so we need to be using the bounty hunter mark to pop ability before we actually start popping these guys into smaller balloons. Let's see how we do versus 93. That's a lot of crits, by the way. I mean, everything is just so far that these guys are creating in almost every shot. So can we mark the DDTs? I mean, so I'm going to activate it, but by the time that they get marked, they're going to get popped, right? Yeah, I'm just going to keep doing it. Let's mark all these guys to 94. So the mark does work on the mob class balloons. It's just that there is no visual indicator that it happened, but it does work, and it's essentially double damage from all these guys. I think the double damage works on the crits, which is insane. Yeah, 94. Okay, so the ZMGs is starting to go somewhere for the first time. So let's dump the call to arms. Let's see how much firepower we're gonna get. This is gonna get insane. Yeah, let's use the mark to pop ability again, and let's just dump a bunch of damage onto these guys. Yep, we are absolutely holding it. 94. I mean, see, that's a good showing from round 94 though, because you actually want to see some resistance at this point. You want to have some more difficult rounds. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get one more alchemist to go for the 401, and I'm gonna buy a Sabo. Can we make sure that we have this guy in the range of the discount, but not in the range of an alchemist? I don't think it's happening, so I'm just gonna quickly buy it, and then let's watch 95. All right, 95 seems like as soon as a DDT like gets into the sights of these Desperados, it gets popped. This is pretty much as expected. I think the superpower of these Desperados and why this thing works, or at least one of the reasons why it works, is that they can pop Camel-Leds. It's the high damage, obviously, but doing Camel-Leds is a very unique thing that not a lot of towers can do, and you gotta get a couple of upgrades onto them, and sometimes they don't even do it properly. That was a very, very easy round 95, I'm gonna be honest. So I think I'm gonna stop spamming Desperados. This is already insane. We're gonna have to do a pop count check when we end this thing, but I have a suspicion that you don't need to buy as many as I bought in order to make this thing work, because this is crazy. So as soon as these guys pop, I'm going to use the mark to pop ability onto the ZMG, so we get the double damage onto them. So let's go like this, and I'm actually going to dump it twice. Let's use it 2 times, and that's all. Oh my god, that's all the ZMG layer is gone. Alright, now is this gonna create a little bit of a mess for itself? I don't think it is. I think that the AoE is going to be enough. So there are no more, small leftovers like we had before reaching free play. There's not like, I don't know, like 25 pink balloons behind each other. And that's a great thing, because it just helps us deal with this round so much more easier. And that's round 96. Alright, 97 is gonna get popped really quickly. Only 2 ZMGs on this one. Now in comes the big one, guys. Alright, so So we know the DDs are not an issue, so I'm gonna dump the first Mark to Pop ability. I'm gonna dump the Sabo. You guys know what? I'm actually gonna dump the Call to Arms. Let's just use everything that we have. So let's give extra range to everyone, and it doesn't last for a very long time for sure, but let's see how helpful this is gonna be. Let's get some action going with these guys at the back. So I think almost everyone in front, everyone is attacking at this point. No ETI abilities, just the Desperados, the most difficult round in BT6, and it's gone. Well, these ZMGs are gone. There's a lot of 45s. It's a very interesting thing that these ZMGs pop before the 45s, by the way. Let me just keep dumping this Mark to Pop ability as soon as we get it. The cooldowns are going back, by the way, which means that we've lost the range of some of the Desperados, but it's not looking like it's even close, guys. And we keep in mind we have like 30k in the bank if we wanted to use it. Yep, that is it for round 98. Man, these index guys are onto something. This is a crazy good strategy, it seems like, and it's so fun. Alright, so there goes round 99. They're gonna do just short the work of these DDTs, because as you guys saw on 95, like, it wasn't even close. And I think we're gonna do just a lot of damage on this bat as well. So let's just try and buff up these guys at the back with a little bit more range, and let's use the Call to Arms, Mark to Pop, and let's just see how fast the bat is gonna get exploded. I'm gonna use the second one as well. Boom, there goes the bad layer. Oh my god, what is this strategy, man? What is even happening? I actually cannot believe that this is a legit strategy which does insane amounts of damage. Just spam Deadeye Desperados, that's it. Let's do a pound count check, by the way. So 138 to 260 on this guy, at 200k on this guy as well. And then the further the back you go, obviously, you know, they've been getting some, you know, less time to attack, and obviously less pops. The pops are in the tens of thousands, which I think we got in the last couple of rounds, but if you wanted to do this strategy, I think you can get away with just a handful of the Desperados. But yeah, that is probably the craziest spam strategy I've seen in a while, and it actually works. And if you guys want to try it, I recommend this thing because this is super fun. But that's gonna be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'm gonna see you on the next one.